A little bit later today, not much, like 5 minutes. I am back from the DMV. Wasn't bad, but you know what? I am not used to. I'm not used to being around people. When we had the great COVID shutdown, I shut down completely. One, to protect my father, um, and two, I've always been slightly leaning towards the hermit hermit stage of my life. I took it as an opportunity to be even more reclusive than before. Um, and then, in the absence of a car, I didn't go anywhere. Um, I guess last year or so, I went to the doctor because I had skin cancer removed. No, a little over a year ago, I guess, going on two. I had Bell's palsy, which was weird, having part of your face partially paralyzed. Um, so yeah, I haven't been out. I just don't get out. I walk. I see people, but from a distance, I'm friendly. I say hi. I see neighbors, Milka and Misty. Other than that, I generally keep to myself. To be in a room with that many people, the DMV was, uh, I don't know how to put it, off-putting? Not off-putting, slightly uncomfortable, I guess would be the word I'm looking for. I'm drinking my tea. I normally drink it earlier, but as I said, I was out. So that might be a short live stream. We'll see if anyone shows up and they want to chat. It's always fun when they do. It's always fun when they don't. I enjoy doing live streams. I enjoy talking, and it's a different atmosphere when I'm sitting here talking to myself because it becomes almost an art form, almost jazz. That I get to see what direction it goes completely on my own. So like a jazz solo, and then when people show up, it becomes a jazz ensemble. Did I say did I say that right? Um, so I miss doing my Course in Miracles video, which I've been doing every night, years and years and years ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. Probably in the 90s. Um, and I don't even remember where I read it. That if it's worth doing something, you do it every day. You don't floss your teeth. You do floss your teeth, right? Um, because it can prevent heart disease. I don't know if anyone who stumbles across this realizes that it's good for your teeth, but you're cleaning out the bad bacteria that can lead to heart disease. So definitely floss your teeth. Um, but yeah, you don't occasionally floss your teeth. It's a daily habit, twice a day for me. Um, so if something's worth doing, you show up every day and you do it. So I show up every day and I work out. Is it the best thing to do for getting bigger? No, but I'm not trying to get bigger. Is it the best thing to do for, I don't know what? Here's what it's the best thing to do. It's the best thing for me, for my mental state of health, to show up every day and work out. I show up every day and I meditate twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Breath work 3 to 4 times a day. Yoga twice a day, sometimes 3 days a day. I write every single day. I show up at my desk 4 o'clock in the morning and I write. If it's worth doing, you do it every day. Poor man's here. Poor man says, tried those stretches. The cow stretch really got my back and neck good. Awesome. Um, it's definitely a good practice, doing it every day. You can also do, I can't remember the yoga name for it, bird dog. Hold on. Let's see if I can post a link. One second, guys. How are you, Jace? Hey, poor man. This is a good addition too. This is generally considered a core exercise, but you'll find that it also stretches the lower back all the way through the shoulders at the same time. Well, man, everyone showed up at once. Turn my back for a second and look at you guys. Asia's here, says howdy all. Asia, how are you, my friend? You write anything today? Peacock Soul, did I say that right? It says hello, hello, my friend. Shanks, what are you writing this year? I have been writing quite a bit about A Course in Miracles, quite a bit about yoga, and quite a bit about nature from a shamanic point of view. Red Flag's here. Red Flag says, good afternoon, guys. Red Flag, how are you? Hey, I saw a video of you in a tree stand. Was that this year or was it from a previous year? It was a YouTube short. Jacob's here. Jacob, my friend, how are you? Jace says hi to everyone. And Jacob's doing what Jacob does. Dropping links. I'm drinking turmeric and ginger tea. I enjoy tea, but I love coffee. But coffee's at once in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning as I'm writing. Leo says, much love, brother Yogi. Hope your day is well. Stay strong and be safe. Thank you, Leo. You as well. How's your day going? You getting ready to hit some reps? Hey, Red Flag, how was your workout yesterday? When you popped in, you said you were on your way to go to the gym. Luffy says, do you think human consciousness is a tragic mix-up in human evolution? I don't. I think that there's only consciousness, human or otherwise, and it is fundamental to the fabric of beingness itself, that without consciousness, there's absolutely nothing. In fact, we could say that there's only consciousness and that we are being dreamed into existence. But, man, I'm trying to think of the name of the book. I have it right in the other room that talks about human consciousness being a tragic misstep. There's a valid theory for that, because, man, have we made a mess of things, haven't we? But I think it's a wrong view of consciousness itself. They're confusing the voice of the ego with consciousness. Consciousness, which is that which allows the ego to exist. The ego can't exist without consciousness, but consciousness exists without the ego. But I like this kind of questions. Leo says, great work, Jacob, truly a beast. Man, who knocks off 500 Navy SEALs on a whim, on a hot day in the middle of August? I can only name 3 people crazy enough to do that. One is Leo said so. The other is the Burpee Reaper, and the other is Jacob. Brendan McMullen says, hey, my friend. Japan song reaction. Red Flag says he has some crazy stories. Yeah, no doubt. I bet. Barb says, Yogi was shocked. YouTube just posted I had just over 8,000 views in my last live. Man, that's awesome. Man, you and me are putting in some big numbers. Leo says, still at work. We'll do my steals when I get home. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing it. It might be tomorrow, though. Jay says, welcome, Japan. What is your name? Liani gives us a wave. Hey, I apologize if I mispronounced anyone's name. Reaper says, Jace was in the tanning bed way too long. Brian's here. I live in southern India with a guru for 2 weeks. I learned a lot about ego. I bet. I imagine so. Javin says, what year did you graduate high school? Bet you weren't even born when I graduated high school. 1983. Jay says, the Burpee Reaper, all natural. Will be like a milk bottle again in a few weeks. Barb says, yeah, I was there for a little bit until I had to leave to go to DMV. Barb says, was talking about being nice to each other and some new rules, YouTube coming out. Interested in hearing the new rules. Red Flag says, hey, Yogi, we should talk about what people think happens after death, no religion involved. Absolutely. What do you think, Red Flag? Let's start things off. Javin says, dang, you old. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it, guys. Not as old as I'm going to be. Knock on wood. Knock on synthetic wood from IKEA. Foreman says, congrats on the shot caller routine. Yeah, man, that's huge. Redflex says, I only ask this because of own expenses usually in the woods. Yeah, I bet you've seen some things. I bet you've seen some things like with yourself, being alone in the woods, as well as a hunter, your own experiences up close with death. I've done some hunting in the past, much younger. I come from a family that hunts in northern Pennsylvania. But I was also with my mom when she passed away, and I was holding my dad's hand when he passed away. So I've had some up-close experiences with death. Reaper says, Javin, how old are you? Javin says, you look 38. Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do my best to keep in shape, but, you know, vanity aside, it's just to stay fit because I like it. I started the conversation off about just showing up every day, getting in a workout, just because I like it. Javin says, 14. Are you Canadian? Nope, I am from America. I love Canada, though. Jason says, Javin, I was 14, 36 years ago. Man, what's that, 45 years ago for me? Jacob says, you should feel honor, Brother Reaper. You definitely helped me on the first shot caller. And then Jacob just shrugs his shoulders and says, hey, one more time, out of the blue. Hey, Jacob, did you even know you were going to do that today, or did you just start doing it and end up doing 500? Our friend Goldie is here. Goldie says, hi there, lovely people. Hi there, lovely Goldie. Goldie is knitting. Jacob says, and every other collab. Thank you, brother. Iron sharpens iron, says the Burpee Reaper. Wolf is here. Wolf says hi to me and to Goldie. Wolf, how are you? Let's see. Brian says our body is the true church. Yeah, I can see that. I definitely wouldn't argue that. Well, you know, what remains, this ties in with Red Flag's conversation. What remains when the body is gone? Obviously, the particles, the atoms, the molecules, the atoms, the particles, but what held it all together? What made us us, and what remains afterwards? The body is the church. The body is the church of who and what we are now. But it's like the Rumi poem, this from the great Sufi mystic Rumi, how he died as a mineral and came back as a plant. He died as a plant and came back as an animal. He died as an animal and came back as a human. When he dies as a human, he'll be reborn as an angel. And what then, after the death of an angel? And why should he be afraid when he keeps being reborn as something other and something seemingly greater? Wolf says, if he meant it, then he is truly crazy. Or, I'm sorry, Reaper said that. Wolf says, y'all really know how to make me feel old? You're young at heart, Wolf. Redflake says, guys, I stayed in my fifth wheel in the middle of Upper Peninsula, Michigan. That is wild. If you guys aren't familiar with it, that is some wild territory. In October, November, and December, heard and seen some crazy stuff. The Native Americans, that was spirit land. Red Flag says, why are we here? That's the ultimate question. When I lead into meditation, my self-inquiry, one of the questions I ask is, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Man, lots of philosophies. Here's my easy answer, because we are. I like taking philosophy out of it. We are here because we are. I'm not sure that there is an actual purpose, or that there needs to be a purpose, other than the fact that we get to give ourselves purpose. Jacob says, happy Navy SEALs Thursday, guys. It was a happy Navy SEAL Thursday for Jacob. He was so happy, he did 500 of them. Reaper says, red flag, post it. Brian says, you can't burn spirit. So no need to fear a fake hell. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you, Brian. Red flags, think about it. Even if nothing existed, it's still something. That's the amazing thing about nothing. Everything comes from nothing. Nothing is the fabric, the bedrock of our existence. So if everything comes from nothing, then everything returns to nothing, which leads it up to pure potentiality. Anything can happen. Eleanor Roosevelt said she finds it no more surprising to be born once than to be born twice. William says, okay, I missed literally everything minutes since I got here. Brian says, finding purpose in life is life itself. Nicely said. I like that. My own thoughts closely related to A Course in Miracles is that we've gotten lost along the way. We became egocentric people, and that maybe our purpose is to, let's call it self-realization, to realize the self with a capital S, and extend ourselves as love. Simply, that's because what we are. Foreman says, you ever listen to Art Bell back in the day? I did, long time ago. AM radio. Man, way back in the day when you'd be out in the way out, you'd lose FM radio, but you'd pick up a local AM radio, and they would have Art Bell on. Some spooky stuff when you're driving around alone at night. Reaper says, here's something interesting. The letter J didn't exist in the alphabet till what year? 1197. That's just, I'm pulling that out of thin air. When is it, Reaper? Asia says, have to go. So have a great rest of your all day. Thank you, Asia. I appreciate you stopping in. Well, I'm saying hi to everyone. Wolf says, if we're not here to help and support others, then existence is useless. I like that way of thinking. I would say in the absence of an ego, or in the absence of believing that we are ego, that's what we naturally do. But we got waylaid. William says, Lewis, to the new method you made, what did you think about the suggestions? Jacob says, I wasn't planning on it, to be honest, in the beginning, but once I got to 200 reps, I just went full shot collar routine. Way to step up, Jacob. Let's see. William says, you saw the video too, Louise? Love it. Reaper said, it's what I saw. Oh, 1524. Nice. Interesting. I wonder why they thought we needed a J. Maybe they knew eventually our friend Jace would be born. And he needed that J for very specific reasons. People are literally praying to Zeus. William says we have been deceived for a long time. Some might say that the primordial garden, Eden, was who we are before the ego took over. Nothing more. And that we've been trying to get back to the garden, to quote Joni Mitchell. However, never realizing that we never ever left the garden itself. It's all been a dream. Jay says, Reaper, just us, so Superman, he did burpees. CDP says, to handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. Beautifully said from our friend CDP, who's on a mission to say beautiful things wherever he goes, whenever he has the opportunity. Jay, Zeus. Ah. How did they get Jay Zeus? Red Flag says, I had something on top of my fifth wheel camper on the night of November 12th of 2022. Went outside very quietly from the back with flashlight shining. I was frozen and couldn't move. Next thing I knew, does spirit have atoms and molecules? I'd say no. I don't know for certain, but I would say no. I would say that spirit includes atom and molecules, but it's not exclusive to atom and molecules. That there's nothing that isn't spirit, but there is nothing exclusive to spirit. So what do you think you saw, Red Flag? Hey, I think Reaper really wants to see your fifth wheel camper. Red Flag says it's 7:25, 25, and I was still outside on a short sleeve shirt, not even cold. Rawhead Rex. Sorry I didn't see you come in, my friend. Rawhead says, thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Hey, Rawhead, what do you think? What do you think about what consists of spirit? Brian says, Amen equal Aman Ra. Well, that I had not put together before. Motabas, did I say that right? Says hi. Hello, my friend. Note says, you a scientist? Nope. just a guy that wears glasses. Man, way far from a mathematician. Math is not my subject. I find math and science fascinating. My dad was a science teacher. I love reading books on quantum physics, cosmology, other sciences as well. I understand very little of it. But when I read books on cosmology, quantum physics, I find myself nodding my head. Because there's that intuitive sense that, yes, this is something here. But man, when I put the book down, nothing sticks with me. Runabout says, you said it right. Good. It is not often I get it right. Moat says, you're a cool man. I can tell you that for sure. Well, thank you. I appreciate you hearing that. Certainly was not that way in high school. William says, just called Great Sage. They said they will let me know if they are interested next week. If I'm still leaving tomorrow, though, so I will be near at least. Well, that's awesome, William. It would be great to have you in the area. Jace says, Mode, make sure to like and subscribe. Welcome. Thank you, Jace. Redflex says, I later checked the call that I had made to my sister at 8:52 p.m. So I was outside from sometimes 9 p.m. to morning. Weeks later, I remember that what I had seen was an old man putting feathers on his head. Wow. There's something about the cold northern lands as well as desert areas, deep woods too. Man, I guess we can go all over and say high in the mountains. There is just something mystical there. Strange things take place. This is why, yogis and seers, rishis, holy men, shamans would head to the desert, where they would head to the top of a mountain. Boat says, high school is behind you. Forget it. Absolutely. Man, it's far behind me. And I was happy enough to leave it alone, that's for sure. Brian says, did you know the word slave comes from Slavic people? No, I didn't know that. Man, we're getting some great information tonight. It says also they have weird standards for being cool in high school. Yeah, that is true. Absolutely true. By today's standards, I would have been considered pretty cool because I was pretty independent. I didn't join any groups. I did my own thing. Back then, it made me kind of weird. I'm still kind of weird. Let's see. William says, I have often thought for a while of a lot of our understandings are misheard from other languages. So I earnestly wish to live a life where I cause no harm to others in any capacity. I'm going to be talking about that hopefully tomorrow on the yoga channel. I want to talk about ahimsa, the first principle of yoga, the first yama. Redflex says, I don't feel scared anymore and spend a lot of time up there now that old man I have seen in my dreams, and he's always teaching me something, showing me something. Yeah, so some might say that you found your spirit guide. We have two people who are really knowledgeable, Wolf and Barb. Man, I'd love to hear their view on that. So not only the fact that you don't have any fear, not just a spirit guide, but a guardian as well. Our friend Duncan Walsh just joined the yoga and meditation room. Duncan, my friend, I don't know if you're listening in. Thank you. William says, unfortunately, I was many things growing up that I won't have a good chance. That I won't have a good chance at that. Jay says Duncan Walsh is nowadays member. Yes, he is. It was Duncan. It was Duncan who gave me the final encouragement to go ahead and do it. So I'm trying to put up content every day. Let's see. Moat says, did you know that people make things up and start with it? Did you know? And it makes people think that it's an actual fact. He did not know that. It makes sense. Seems like it would be like a hypnotic technique. Brian says, Lone Ranger, eh? In high school, yeah. I had close friends, and I was friendly with everyone. But I've always been a bit of a keep to myself. Not a loner, but just keep to myself. And Duncan is here. Hey, Duncan, thank you. I just mentioned you when I said that you were the last bit of motivation I needed to go ahead and do it, our conversation. Brian says, some people find a new and better way. I was a jock in high school, but I'm more of a info nerd now, and I don't care for sports much anymore. I was a bit of a jock my first 2 years. Man, I was a horrible football player. But I was, on paper, I should have been good. In high school, by my sophomore year, I was weighing close to 190 pounds. I was strong. I was lifting. I just didn't like playing the sport, but I loved training for it. I loved practices. And my coach pulled me aside and said, you don't like football. You don't have to play. You can come in the weight room. You can work out. Find something that you like. Good coach. So actually, I started bodybuilding. Jacob says, Brother Duncan, with a salute. How you doing, Duncan? Castle has joined the yoga and meditation room. Much appreciated. Broadhead says, I think spirit is an attitude. Interesting. But here's a question. Who would the attitude belong to? In the absence of an ego, with the absence of a brain and thoughts, then what would the attitude be? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just sort of fleshing it out, so to speak. Motivation is my middle name, says Duncan Walsh, Fitness Motivation. Wait a minute. I think motivation is your last name. Jace gives a salute to Castle. Thank you, Jace. Castle says, I just got into yoga a few months ago. Happy to help. I'm going to be, I should say offhand that the yoga, we will do some asanas, but not a ton. It's really meditation, pranayama, breath work, the philosophy, the foundation of yoga, and just enough of the asanas that we can all do a daily routine without being a big class. Red Flag says, have a good night, everyone. Time to work out. Hey, have a good workout, Red Flag, and thanks for the conversation. Duncan says, had a hard session and the heat today. What's the temp there? It's actually pretty nice. I think it got up to maybe 87 today, which might seem high, but we were getting in the hundreds a few weeks ago. What did you do today, Duncan? Let's see. Rawhead says, I think spirit is a principle that inspires, animates, or pervades thought, feeling, or action. I aligned a lot with that, Rawhead, very much, quite a bit. Let's see. Wolf says, Castle is the one causing Barb the most trouble. Well, you know what? I believe she sent something about that. I didn't put things together. Wolf says he's a troll. Jay says Castle is a troll, Eric. Has a Barb troll video up on his channel. Paradox says, nice shirt, Yogi. Thank you. I appreciate that. I dressed up. This is dressing up for me slightly from my trip to the DMV. So as I mentioned before, I trust the mods to do what needs to be done for them to feel safe, for them to keep their friends and loved ones safe. So no questions for me. If he wants to participate in the yoga room as a yogi, let's see. Yeah, but again, like I said, I don't question Wolf at all. He knows what he's doing. So Duncan did 20 minutes Navy SEALs, then plyometric jumps. Because of course Duncan Walsh did plyometric jumps. It wouldn't be a Duncan Walsh workout without plyometric something. What did we get in 20 minutes? Man, it's been a while since I've done a hard 20 minutes of SEALs. I might have to do that next week. Jace Waves and Laradox. We get the link drop for Runner Boy. Runner Boy is here. Runner Boy says, oh, they have a video of Barb. Just looked. Man, at a certain point, people just have to let it go. There is no cause to be carrying that stuff around with you. It eats away at you. You have a choice. You can carry around a perceived resentment, but there's no justified resentments. You can say, well, this person did this or that or whatever. There are no justified resentments. The reason why is because it eats away at you. It's not about them. Carrying their resentments, carrying a grievance, carrying around anything, any ill intent, eats away at you and no one else. You will never hate your way into being a better person. You will never hate someone else into being a better person. It's a waste. Duncan says, where'd he go? Reaper says, Duncan, it's always trouble when Reaper and Duncan are in the same room. Wolf says, yes, Runner, but it's not the real Barb. Runner Boy says, yeah, it's an AI voice that moves the mouth. Duncan says, a few members now? In the meditation? Yep, I think you make 4. It's a start. I hope I make it worth everyone's while. Cameron's here. Cameron, how are you? My last sip of tea. This is in honor of my English friends. Wolf says hi to Duncan. My second to last sip of tea. Duncan is asking Luis how his injury is doing. Man, 141 SEALs in 20 minutes is incredible. You are up there in busy dad territory. You're up there in still in the game Tony Hand territory. Hey, Duncan, you should try to qualify for the top tier busy dad level. I think you only need 9 more seals, and you might already be there for your 6 counts. Duncan says, I think need to watch back. Man, my best was 116. You're killing it. Rawhead says, is believing in angels the same as believing in aliens? It's a good question. I wouldn't say it's the same, but if you're going to believe in one, it makes sense to believe in the others. I don't know how much I believe in aliens as much as I believe in, or I don't know what I believe in. Entertain. Interdimensional travel. Seems more plausible. We got a hi, Mr. Wolf from Duncan. Reaper says, I think my injury went away when I did those 100K Navies back in June. Yeah, you know what? It was bothering you, and then, man, like that, it was gone. He repped it out. This is a good reason why Burpee Reaper is not a doctor, because he would take out his notepad and say, so you got this symptom, this symptom, this symptom. Do 1,000 Navy SEALs tomorrow morning, and then give me a call. Let me know how you feel. Dr. Burpee Reaper, and he's in session every day. Hey, here's my question. How come the Burpee Reaper never gets a have you considered? I think it's due time that we get a have you considered. Hey, Burpee Reaper, have you considered? Hey, Duncan, did you know that the Burpee Reaper is doing a Spartan race on the 24th, which is, man, 9 days away? Look at Reaper causing trouble. Hit it with him, Duncan. Reaper says if alien exists, they wouldn't just show us a light show. Probably not. Think about what happens with us whenever we've met as a human species what we considered a lower life form and what we've done. Why would we think of something that was a higher life form, more intelligent, would treat us any differently? That's a scary thing. It also puts things in place about how maybe we should conduct ourselves. Duncan says, we need a challenge again, Luis. Hey, well, we're here. Lay it out. What do you guys got in store for each other? I'm not sure Reaper's going to do too much challenge-wise until after the Spartan. And I think the second challenge after that is he's going to eat a large New York-style pizza on his own. I'm not sure if he's going to time it. Runner Boy says maybe the aliens were just the friends we made along the way. Or maybe the aliens are us, but in the future. What do you think? Camera says, how to build stamina while running, and sometimes it's really difficult for me to breathe. Through my nose. And my coach always told me to breathe through the nose, and it was always hard to do. It is hard to do. To build stamina, you need to do it slow. You need to, at an easy pace, what the boxers used to call road work. As slow as you can nasally breathe. If you can't breathe through the nose, then you're going too fast. Slow it down. I would suggest doing heart rate training. And you could look up heart rate training and running, Maffetone. Jeff, I believe his first name is Jeff Maffetone, and he has a formula for you to figure out your heart rate. And you never let your heart rate go above this. But eventually, you start going faster and faster while your heart rate stays the same. Mark Allen, probably the greatest triathlete ever, used to call it patience training, because you got to be patient with yourself. Building stamina is all about being patient with yourself. Wolf has joined the meditation room. Well, thank you, Wolf. Reaper says, I don't care for time in anything. That's true. Man, Rawhead. That's pretty deep. I agree. Maybe aliens are ancient humans who have mastered the Tree of Life. The Merkaba. Maybe they have mastered the Merkaba. Jay says, Cameron, you may find arm carriage, stride, and relaxing need work. Running's not just legs in front of leg. Excellent advice from Jace, as always. Brian says, I agree, aliens are time travelers. It's definitely interesting to consider, isn't it? Runner Boy says, Monday going on a 10K run. Nice. Reaper says, Runner Boy, get it. And this turned into a fun discussion. When you don't hear from Duncan Walsh, it means he's plotting. He's got something in mind. This time, I believe he's got something in mind for the Burpee Reaper. So I'm not worried about it. If it was just me, I'd be like, oh man, what does Duncan have? But I think he's got his eyes set on the Burpee Reaper. Jay says, Rawhead, we need to discuss this more. I've had a big theory of knowledge being the source. Yeah, man, we definitely need to get into the weeds with this one. Here's the thing. I don't believe anything along these terms, but I don't dismiss anything. So my lack of a belief isn't skepticism. I'm not saying that could never happen. It means that I'm open to every possibility. All of it could be possible. I'd rather be open to all of it than closed to any of it. Reaper says, Eric, what do you recommend for next week as far as my workouts? I'd continue with the grip stuff up until maybe 3 days, maybe even 4 days. See how you feel. I would do a little bit of light running, really light, and find the minimum amount of burpees that you're comfortable with without overdoing it. I know you're not worried about taking a streak. You'll take a day off when you need it. I would definitely take 2 days off before. No burpees at all. Minimal movement. Stretching, staying limber. Reaper says he's plotting. That's the scary thing. Reaper says, I've been saving my challenge for someone, so I'll present it. And if they do it, I'll do theirs. Nice. Well, Running Boy is going to do on Sunday 10K after 130 kilogram squat, and that will be the end of your the end of the program, right? 130, because you're already 5 kilograms ahead. Didn't you say you were hoping to top out at 125? See, William says, changes cause uncertainty. Again, but I must march on. I will no longer place stock into fear. Hey, if you get a chance, send me about the changes. Send me a note, a message about the changes. William says, who was Louise? No one in particular, William. I just know I have a mind ready for the challenges crowd. Cameron says, you think that being rational is just subjective and not objective way of thinking? Man, that's a good question. I'm not sure if it's subjective or objective, to be honest with you. I mean, what is rational? Because a lot of things that we said, that's just not rational. Look where we are now. At one point, quantum physics was not rational. A rational mind, if you have a rational mind, you can't understand quantum physics. Now, I have an irrational mind, and I can't understand quantum physics. But man, which quantum physicists, early quantum physicists, said not only is quantum physics too weird to understand, it's too weird for us to be able to understand. We only have stories of what we think it is, but we don't know. We have stories that accurately display something, but we don't know what's beneath the stories. So, yeah, I would say it would be leaning towards subjective. However, underneath that subjectiveness is the possibility for everything and anything to exist. Pure potentiality. Running Boy says, no, I have a few weeks left on my PR block. This week is just 130 or 130 times 4. What do you hope to top out at? Jacob says, thank you for having me on your live stream once again, brother Mr. Yogi. Much love and respect. Big salute. Big salute to you, my friend. Always appreciate you being here, Jacob. Jacob says, much love and respect to y'all. Big salute. For guys who don't know or might have come in here later, Jacob is just off a shot caller routine, 500 Navy SEALs on a whim. Just because he felt like doing it. Because he got to 200, which is no easy feat in and of itself. And he said, I'll keep going. Jace says, stay healthy. Reaper says, Jacob, rest up, my guy. Let's see. Ross says, Jace, I agree. Knowledge controls reality. That is definitely something to dive into. William says, Jace says, Louis, I love you. Be gentle. All I know is I did Navy SEALs today because the Burpee Reaper declared Thursdays were Navy SEALs Day. Reaper says it's Navy SEALs Day. You don't question, you just do Navy SEALs. William says, I didn't decide the specific time to leave. I was going to leave when other people here did, but they still aren't here, and now my mom isn't leaving with them. Well, you're not in a hurry for anything, are you? As you said, you're not entertaining fear. Shrug the shoulders. You'll leave when you leave. There's a lot to be said for just surrendering. Runner Boy says, time is just a big ball of wibbly wobbly stuff. As Einstein said, time is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. 150 or 160K. So is this the choice? Do I get to vote on it? I'm going to vote for 160. If I have a choice between Runner Boy squatting 150 kilograms or 160 kilograms, I'm going to choose 160. Jacob says, thank you guys. Love you all, family. Love to you, my friend. Reaper says, steak for dinner. Hashtag the Burpee Reaper made me do it. Yep, between you and Duncan Walsh, man. I'm staying in shape in spite of myself. Zach says, how do you like your steak cooked, Burpee? Man, you know what? I'm going to guess he's going to say medium rare. Part of me wants to say he's going to eat it rare. Part of me wants to say it's still on the cow. That Reaper just goes ahead and he picks up a cow, starts chewing. Doesn't need a knife, doesn't need a fork, doesn't need it cooked. Wife says, I wanted to get started on my own. I cannot do that. Just waiting for life here. Well, William, my thoughts, you can't wait for life. Life is already here. It's already happening. It gives you an opportunity to stay centered, maybe to send out some more applications, to explore more what you would really, really like to do, the best way to go about making it happen. Gives you time to, you can sit, you can do breath work, you can meditate. You've been given gift of a little more time. Life's already happening, and you are already a participant. You can't escape it. Whatever you do, there's a Zen saying, wherever you go, there you are. People says, 3/4 cooked, tiny bit of blood, very tiny. Jay says, Zeus has his steak mukbanged. Zach says, you mean medium? Yes. Runner Boy says, not just a squat, after the grass squat, the harder variation. Absolutely. If you got a squat, that's the way to do it. I've mentioned before, Runner Boy has impeccable form. The best out there. Queen Kaylin's here. Says, hey, Queen, how are you? Appreciate you coming by. William says, sure, I can leave whenever, but everything coinciding like that started to make it feel stacked against me now. But who would stack anything against you? How could anything be stacked against you? Just another opportunity. Let's see, William says, my sanity is waning, I'm leaving. It's either way, whatever you decide to do it from the heart. Do it because this is what you want to do. Don't do it because you think you have to. Jay says, Eric, that's so bad. He jumps the field, mounts the cow, rides it home, stops it on the barbecue. 20 Navy SEALs later, it's on the plate. Nom nom yeehaw. That was pretty funny, Jace. I can see that. I can picture Burpee Reaper. William says, I will leave tonight if I get any more protests from life. Life never protests, William. Only the mind does. Only your thoughts does. Don't battle life. Remember the changing our demands, that life should be this way. I want life to be this way, into preferences. You can always deal with a preference. The preference is easy for William Hart. William Hart is relaxed, listens to his own heart, and makes the best decisions from there. MF Dreadson is here, says, what up, fam? Dreadson, how are you? Reaper says, freaking Jace is wild. He certainly is. Burner Boy says, William asks to the graph squad every day. Can't go wrong with that. I used to love doing front squats. Dresden says, Reaper, I mixed in some 5 pumps today. A glimpse into the villainy of Reaper reps. Man, it'll draw you in. CDP says, live is a jungle today. I'm glad I ended up back here. Does anyone need a subscriber before I venture off again? I'm glad you came back, CDP. Hey, anyone here need a subscriber? Our good friend CDP is here to help. Dresden says, feeling worn out. Need some rest. I'm doing pretty good, Dresden. I spent my late afternoon at the DMV. This is the first time I ventured out into the real world in a long time. I did not like it. I'm glad I got my little office. I'm glad I got my burpees in my basement. I'm glad I got acres of bike paths around where I seldom see other people when I walk so early. Reaper says he's going to check it out. Brenda Boy says, sometimes life wins, so you have to gaslight life into thinking you won. There you go. Advice from the runner boy. My thoughts, you are life. Don't battle yourself. Don't go to war at yourself. If you are life, there's no such thing as us against them, because there's no them. My favorite from Ramana Maharshi, when he was asked, how do we treat others? And his reply was, there are no others. And that's everything in life, everything. There's no life outside of life. Don't battle it. Don't fight it. This is a situation we find ourselves in, and it might suck. It's okay for life to suck. Sometimes it does. It won't cause you suffering unless you say, I don't want life to suck. Then you go to battle with yourself. I don't want this. I don't want that. This isn't right. That isn't right. This is unacceptable. But it's acceptable because it's happening. By virtue of it happening means it's acceptable. If it's acceptable, we deal with it. Sometimes we deal with it exceptionally well. Sometimes we deal with it exceptionally bad. But we deal with it. And we keep moving on. Web says, I do not have anything positive to say at this moment. I'm only getting more irate. I'm checking out for now. Goodbye, everyone. Take care, William. One thing, I don't know, you probably left. You never have to feel like you need to say anything positive. If life feels like it sucks right now, let us know. Life sucks right now. It's actually okay. It's okay. Life is always just life. How we perceive it is a different story. But sometimes, man, even the best of our perceptions, life is just hard. It hits us between the eyes, and we got to pause. We got to take a deep breath. We need to be around friends, or we need to be alone. We need to cry. All of it's good. The suffering comes when we say, but I don't want to cry. I'm tired of crying. Or I don't want to feel this way. I'm tired of feeling this way. The thing is, we feel how we feel when we feel it. And it can't be any other way until it is another way. And it will be. It will be another way. Let's see. I cannot pronounce your name, and I cannot read what you wrote. But I want to say welcome, my friend. Appreciate you being here. CDP says, I've checked everyone. Only needed to subscribe to MF Dreadson. And done. Stay positive and motivated, everyone. Thank you, CDP, and thank you for spreading that positivity and the motivation. Jace says, too, is that Bunk Top? Bunk Top? Maybe. Try English. That might work. So, I think in about 5 minutes or so. Cameron says he said hello and asked how you are. Oh, nice. Cameron, thank you for translating that. So if I'm pronouncing it right, Bink Top. Hello to you, my friend, and I am doing well. I hope you are too. His name is Victor. Nice. Victor, it's nice to meet you. Jay says, Cameron asks if he can type in English. So in just a couple minutes, we're going to call it a night. Appreciate you guys stopping in, hanging out with me. And man, this was a good talk. We went everywhere. We covered a whole lot of stuff. I'd love to flesh out the conversation with Jace, everyone. Rawhead Rex, as well as Red Flag. Poor man says, have a good night all. You too, my friend. Cameron says he said already that he can't. Hey, I appreciate him being here nonetheless, hanging out with us. Hey, what language? If he comes back, I'll try to get up Google Translator and at least be able to say hi to him. Jace says, take care, family. You as well, Jace. I will see you about 4:30 my time in the morning, and I think it's, what, 9:30 for you? Or thereabouts. All right, so next time he comes in, I'll put up at least to be able to say hi. Cameron says, Victor says you are some kind of scientist because you have a lot of books. No, I'm just an old guy that likes to read. Always have. Jay says it may be a bit earlier. I'm going to keep an eye out for you. As soon as I turn my computer on, which is usually about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get things up and running, one of the first things I look for is your notification. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, let's see how this works. Good old Google Translator. So, guys, I'll be back. Tomorrow we're going to be on day, what is it? Day 78 of the Tao Te Ching, which means only 3 days left. And then we're going to start something new. I think we might dive into Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, covering all 7 days, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens from there. If anyone has some spiritual texts that they'd like to explore, let me know, and maybe we can dive in. Or even if you want a specific poem that is meaningful for you, that has a spiritual connotation, let me know, and we'll read it and we'll talk about it. Do it every morning at 5 a.m. As well, I have a new members channel where we talk specifically yogic philosophy, psychology, and practice. By yoga, I don't mean just the stretches. I'm going to do very little of that. Very little. Some of it, but a little. But we are going to talk about how the mind works and how to navigate life without using the ego as our main system of navigation. We're going to get into the heart of the matter of yoga. Yoga literally means yoke, to join. It should mean rejoin, because we're already one, we're already whole. But yoga is that process of coming back together to our true selves. And we do that through what Patanjali called the cessation of the fluctuation of the mind. Meaning all those thoughts that we have going on, we don't need to listen to them. It's not who we are. We are the observer of those thoughts, the witness to those thoughts, the awareness to those thoughts. Pure witness, pure awareness. How amazing is that? Your mind isn't messed up. Everyone's mind is messed up. But who you really are isn't the brain. That's yoga. And we're going to get into other stuff. Of Course in Miracles, Taoism. A lot of breath work. Every video that I've put up so far has been breath work. I put up a great one today on the physiological sigh, which is just 3 breaths. Very easy to do. And it changes your state of being in just those 3 breaths. If you're stressed, if you need to relax, 3 breaths can take you there. So, hey, if you want, check it out. Let me know what you think. Give some suggestions. And if you don't, it's not like I'm not going to talk about it here. It's just on the yoga channel or yoga room, whatever. That's all I'm going to talk about. That kind of stuff. Rawhead says, great session. Thanks for sharing your intellect and kindness is appreciated. Till then, thank you, Rawhead. Man, I really appreciate you being here and steering the conversation in such a great and fun and interesting way. Very much appreciated. You and Jace definitely have some stuff to talk about. I hope you two connected. 2 great minds. Who knows where it's going to lead to? Wherever it does, I hope to be there. So, thank you very much, guys. Cameron says, take care. Eric, Cameron, you too. Hey, keep us posted on your training, on your running. Remember patience training. I will see everyone tomorrow. Guys, again, thanks for hanging out with me.